And we're back. Our first episode of the new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Fresh start.
New year, new me.
Yeah. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I don't think I really have anything to resolve. Like
You're like taking it very literal.
Yeah, so I don't like the term like New Year's resolution. I'm pretty happy with things, but I definitely like at the beginning of the year though, I do like kind of set goals. So I did write down a few goals.
Yeah, so that's New Year's resolution.
So I guess it's more like goal setting more than like New Year's resolution, I guess. But same stuff I do regular.
I feel like a couple people have asked obviously recently, like, do you have any resolutions? I'm like,
to win my fight.
To win my fight, yeah. Like, no, I don't, but that doesn't mean that, I don't know, I haven't thought about it now. I'm 2 weeks out of a fight, like even less than that, almost a week and a half. Like, I'm so focused on that. Like New Year's is...
Well, you can't break your routine at all. So it couldn't be like, oh, I'm going to run every morning.
Yeah.
That would take away from your training camp. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel
can't put any spin on what you have going on right now.
Exactly. I'm kind of always goal oriented, and I always kind of throughout the whole year or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's when the year ends and when a new one begins. I just kind of always make goals for myself. We both do that a lot.
Yeah.
I'll go through phases where I'm like, all right, I want to start doing this. I would just kind of, instead of making goals, I kind of like to always adapt new habits.
Right. I said that I want to buy 2 new properties this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to start doing a little more like consistently investing into Bitcoin. We just dump money into it. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking now about like more like a dollar cost average approach, just more consistent throughout the year. Then, I want to stay consistent with my workouts. I'd like to build the podcast a little more, but most importantly, I want to buy 2 properties this year.
Yeah. I want to win my fight.
Win your fight. That's what I mean. That's not like,
I'm like so zoned in. I can't think of anything else.
Right.
But like as soon as I'll do that, and then a week after I'll eat whatever I want for a week, and then I'll feel fat and gross, and then I'll be like, okay, I want to like work out more and get back into my diet.
Yeah, but nothing to do with New Year's.
No.
You're more focused on like when a fight is.
Yes.
Rather than when the year starts or ends.
Correct.
Right.
So like fight camp is like when I'm kind of like New Year's resolution mode.
That's like your January 1st.
Yes. So
right.
A couple times a year sometimes. Hopefully.
Yeah. But so hopefully you win your fight, and then we really attack 2022.
Yeah.
2022?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start to forget what year it is. I
feel like since COVID, it's just 1 year.
Yeah, and
it's like pre-COVID, post, you know what I mean?
I think once it got to the 20s, it's kind of hard to say. Like 2020, 2021, 2022, like I don't know, 2019. Those were easier. The teens were easier to say. Or like 07,
right.
08.
Oh, yeah,
those are, because you used to just say 98. Right. Now you have to say like 2022. It's kind of doesn't roll off the tongue that well.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you just say 22.
But it really is like, I think of it as like 2019, and then everything else is just COVID. They're not really like years anymore.
Right.
I just think it's just COVID.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, they have like BC, before Christ.
Yes. This is PC. Pre-COVID.
Yeah. I was going to say, or before COVID.
Yeah. BC, before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. So I don't really think about the New Year's either.
Yeah.
It's just a new COVID strain.
Or like, yeah, people are like, for us, they're like, what are you doing for New Year's? Got any plans? Even, I mean, granted, I have a fight coming up, so that kind of derailed anything. But even if we didn't, I mean, we probably wouldn't have had plans. We're not like really going out. Maybe we would have like. I
mean, we would have went to someone's house probably.
Just like hung out with friends.
A house party. But like, does anyone really go out anymore in here? I don't know. There's not like it feels like it's not as big anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure people do. But.
Yeah. I mean, people in like Times Square, you saw it. They were all out there, which I thought
didn't look that fun.
No, definitely not. I never thought that looked fun. Even like when I went to college right over the George Washington Bridge. So like we went to the city for a lot of stuff all the time. And even in college, and that's kind of the time you think maybe you'd be like, have a bunch of friends that are like, oh, let's go to Times Square for New Year's, like a bucket list. That never seemed appealing to me. Plus, it's just so cold and you have to stand out there all day long.
Yeah, no bathrooms, right?
No.
So what are people doing?
I don't know. Good question.
That's tough, dude. Because
But
you're like boxed in there.
yeah, I think
And
a
if
lot
you're
of
drinking?
people. Yeah, I think a lot of people like pee in between cars and stuff,
Right.
which is funny because like I notice everyone's there and they're all have like masks on. I'm like, if you have a mask on, that's the worst place you should be. Like there's people peeing on the floor, and you're like standing in like the biggest crowd, like known to man.
Yeah. Well, the mask really, I don't think they're doing it because they think it'll protect them. Mask is more like a symbol. Like it's, like Rogan said, it's the liberal Trump hat.
Yeah,
So I think everyone just like shows what team they're on. That's why they do it. I don't think they're thinking, oh, I'm worried about getting sick.
I saw the clip on TV. It was like on the news. Like, they're showing everyone in Times Square, and it was a guy proposed to his wife. They both had masks on, got on a knee, and they're like, oh my gosh. The news reporter was like, this is amazing. And then she said yes. And then they start kissing. Not like one peck.
Yeah.
They both had masks on. They were like making out. Like the faces were smushing and for a while, and they both had masks on. I wonder, like,
sometimes I always think like they're just that's a joke, right? They're trying to get on TV. It's a spoof. They're just fucking around. No one's really like that, right? That's what I always think.
Making out outside of your proposal with a mask on.
I think they're trolling.
Yeah. No, you think that, but they're not.
I think they are.
All right. I think you give some people a little bit more credit.
That can't be serious.
Yeah.
But so there's no fights again. The only real like combat grappling stuff was the Fury grappling, which is like a crazy card.
I felt like it kind of came on pretty quick. Like I saw some fights getting advertised, and then they kept adding more. They added a lot more even towards the end, and I thought it was a great time to have the event, like on a week where nothing was really going on, and for combat sports, and they really promoted it. Even the UFC was promoting it. It was I fought for Cage Fury, most of my career before the UFC, and they run a really, really, really good promotion, and they kind of did that with the Fury grappling.
This will take off because they do it so professional. I remember I fought for Cage Fury too. And when you go there, it feels like a real organization. Mm-hmm. Like they have the nice credentials.
Production's really good.
Production's really good, but they're very they're very good at promoting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not, at first they had like one or two UFC fighters, and then they kept adding more and more, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And now at first, when you see for me, when I see like a UFC versus a grappler, I'm not super interested in it, just because I'm like, what? I don't know.
Because you always think they're not even taking it serious, right?
The UFC fighter's not.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I think so. For the most part, like from my point of view, I think that the UFC fighter, they're not that they're not, you're definitely trying to win, but you're not risking, and you're thinking like, this is just fun. I'll make a little bit of money on this weekend, and whatever. I don't care if I lose. Right. You're definitely not gonna like break a bone, like, well, you know what I mean? Like you are in a fight. So where I think the jiu-jitsu person has a little bit more motivation than the MMA fighter, because the MMA fighter thinks, oh, this is just an easy thing for me to do, whatever, this is fun, where the jiu-jitsu person, that's their fight.
Well, they could use, because chances are the UFC fighter is going to have a bigger name than the grappler, so they could use, I beat so-and-so, I beat this UFC fighter, which really doesn't mean anything because they're not grapplers,
right?
So typically I don't really like those matchups, but the main event of this card was Craig Jones and Sean Brady. Mm-hmm. And Craig Jones is like widely regarded as the second best grappler in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's, pretty like clear cut. He's the second best.
Yes.
There's Gordon, and then Craig Jones is the next best guy. And I remember when that was the matchup first started, I was like, oh, Craig's probably going to win. He's, more experienced than just pure grappling. But then as it got closer, I kind of started thinking, I was like, maybe Sean Brady's going to win, because I saw them at weigh-ins, and Craig Jones, how he's always just like joking around and like laughing and fooling around, nothing serious ever. Sean Brady didn't look like that.
Oh no, he
went there thinking, I'm going to win.
He's taking it seriously.
He was taking it serious. It wasn't like when Craig Jones did the match against like Donald Cerrone, and they're just like, like slapping hands and joking around. Sean Brady went out there to like win.
Right.
And I guess, you could say, oh, well, it was a boring match, or, he didn't submit him, or he didn't, do much. But that's not really the goal. The
Yeah.
goal is to win, right? And he used the rules to his advantage, and
That's part of competition.
Yeah. If he was not as good a grappler, he would have got swept and submitted. But Sean Brady beating the best grappler, the second best grappler in the world, is very, very impressive.
And I think that win is not only like, big for Sean Brady and his popularity, but also I think it's good for that event.
Definitely good for that event.
Because now any other jiu-jitsu person, like high level jiu-jitsu person, seeing that, like, and just seeing how much attention the event got, now they're like, wait, I want to do this, you know?
Yeah. No, it was cool. It was like if Craig would have won, you're right, it wouldn't have been as exciting. Be like, well, of course. Well, Sean Brady's he's a fighter. Well, he's not even trying.
Yes.
But he went out there and won.
Yeah.
So now maybe I think they run it back. I don't know.
The rules are pretty good too, because they do eliminate any heel hooks. So I know for me as a fighter, like,
but they know that going in.
Oh,
so
no,
that's not like, I don't think of it's less of a victory for Sean Brady.
No, I think
the rules are set before
100%. But I think that makes it more interesting for fans watching, because it kind of levels at the playing field a little bit. Whereas like if the leg locks are there, like you would think for most people, the jiu-jitsu people have such an advantage that they could just get in, and maybe a lot of UFC fighters wouldn't take it because there is a higher risk of injury with heel hooks, especially if they're not comfortable with it and they're not willing to, take that risk for an injury in a jiu-jitsu match. You know what I mean? Then that mess up your UFC career.
Yeah, exactly.
I know when I saw that, I was like, oh, there's no heel hooks. I'm like, oh, well, I would definitely do it.
Yeah. Then,
and the shorter
there was another
rounds.
match. They did have a couple of the matchups. A lot of them were two UFC guys.
Yes.
Like Clay Guida fought Billy Q.
Yeah.
And he did the whole match in a wrestling singlet.
And Billy Q came out with like the Squid Game outfit.
Yeah. So it was kind of fun. Clay Guida won, mostly just wrestling and pace, and but they were intense. They were both trying to win.
Yeah.
I like both of them. Clay Guida, though, one thing I really like about him is he is like the most advocate for wrestling of anyone on the UFC roster.
Loves wrestling.
And I don't even think of him like, I don't know if he wrestled in college or certainly didn't wrestle like internationally or anything.
Yeah.
But he advocates for wrestling more than any fighter on the roster, like more than like Daniel Cormier or Henry Cejudo. But he's the most like wrestling. He
Loves
really believes
wrestling.
in it. And it was, it's won him fights for 20 years.
Yeah. I wonder if he like, does he like coach wrestling, like youth wrestling?
He might have some affiliation with like a club program or something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool that
he's always entertaining, and and Billy Q too. His fights, he's high energy.
Yeah, definitely.
Then there was Kevin Holland. I think like he's kind of like become a fan favorite to watch.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of slipped in MMA, but this was kind of a good thing to show that he's working on his grappling. But he went against
Cody.
He's a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wrestled at North Carolina State. But I think he has some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he trains at Henzo's and the Edge.
But I think Kevin Holland's like a black belt, right? I think he is.
Yeah.
Like he's not good grappling. Like for MMA, he gets taken down and held down a lot. But I think he's got pretty tricky guard. He was throwing up a lot of submissions. A lot of people thought that he won, but he kind of got out wrestled, like got taken down, but not really controlled. I think it's good for him.
Yeah. To keep, it's kind of good for someone like him right now to keep his name out there, without necessarily taking a fight.
Yeah. So hopefully he gets back to the MMA though. I'd rather watch him in an MMA fight.
Of course. Yeah, of course. He had the shorts with the OnlyFans sponsorship, which I thought was pretty funny. But and then also for the girls was Carla Esparza versus Danielle Kelly. It was supposed to be Danielle Kelly versus Rose Namajunas, which I was like, oh, I was shocked. Like Rose took a jiu-jitsu match. And I was actually like,
Rose is really good jiu-jitsu.
Really, really good jiu-jitsu. So, but I've never seen her do a jiu-jitsu match. So I was actually like super amped for that. And then I guess, I don't know what happened, but last minute they switched it.
She got injured or?
I don't know. I guess maybe she pulled out or whatever. Last minute they replaced her with Carla Esparza, who, well, actually I was like, that's still very interesting just because Carla Esparza is like a wrestler and Danielle Kelly is good wrestling. So I was like, thinking maybe they would do some wrestling, but I think early on, she and then Carla Esparza hit her head on. She like picked Danielle Kelly up in the guard and like slammed her, and as she slammed her head hit her cheek, and she got a really bad cut.
Yeah, really bad cut.
It's tough because then as soon as she's done, like she was potentially in line for the next title shot, and people are like, "Whoa, that was so stupid! If you're in line for the title shot, why?" Well, okay,
I mean, you could get cut in practice.
Yes,
just as easily.
Yeah, you could get cut in practice.
You don't need to make her feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's like.
But I mean, Rose isn't gonna fight, next month.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not till the summer.
Cut
I would
was
guess.
really bad, so
I
think
mean, it'll heal.
Yeah,
within a couple months, it'll be totally fine.
Oh no, people get
6
cut
weeks.
in camps in camp and then still fight. I mean, before I fought Valentina, I got cut like on my cheek.
Right.
It wasn't like, but I had to get like 3 stitches, and it was like three or 4 stitches on my cheek, and it was like, I was a little worried because it was like 3 weeks before the fight, but.
Yeah,
I never had issues with it.
They say you're more susceptible to get like re-cut open,
and I think
in those spots.
Carla's was really bad.
Yeah, it was definitely bad.
But then it was interesting because like that happened very early on. It was kind of a buzzkill. But and then Danielle Kelly got like a little bit of slack because she was like celebrating so much.
Yeah, that's odd to celebrate that.
I'm gonna
You'd almost just be like, oh, it sucks. Like,
yeah,
not even remotely happy.
I'm going to give her a benefit of the doubt. Maybe she had like adrenaline going and was just like, oh, okay. Like, jiu-jitsu people aren't used to that type of stuff. Like you don't see very many cuts in jiu-jitsu.
No.
I don't think so. But, so maybe she just kind of wasn't, you know what I mean? When your adrenaline's going, you're a little confused. I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes I see people, because I know that feeling like when you're like, oh, you know what I mean? You're like, wait, I don't know why I reacted that way, you know?
Yeah. Well, hopefully she heals up.
But that'd be good because someone like for the girls, like, Danielle Kelly was like, she's pretty popular, and there's a couple.
Definitely.
I think that's really good for women's jiu-jitsu because I don't think it's very, I don't know, unless I'm wrong on it, but I don't think that that's super popular. I think the girls in jiu-jitsu that are popular is more because they're like cute and good at jiu-jitsu. I don't know if like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how good she is. Like, I mean, what would it be like if she went with like Mackenzie Dern? Could they get Mackenzie Dern into the next one? That would be fun.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
But Mackenzie Dern was, top of the food chain jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Before, but now she's been just focusing on MMA.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that would be really good.
I don't know how good.
I
she's very popular.
Yeah.
But I don't know how she is on like a world level.
Yeah, because she doesn't do like EDCC or anything. I think she's like super, super small.
Right.
But I don't know.
But I would imagine Mackenzie Dern's weight. No?
She's smaller than that.
Is she?
Yeah.
Is Mackenzie Dern's 115, no?
Yeah, she fights at 115, but Danielle Kelly's probably like walks around like 110.
Oh.
She's like really tall, really tiny.
Carla Esparza.
Yeah. No, same thing. Yeah. She'll like go against people bigger than her too. Right. Yeah. But cool. I thought the event was awesome, and I wondered, I'm anxious to see like how often they're gonna do them, and you know what I mean. They had a lot. I'm like curious because they must have paid out a lot.
Yeah, but it's on, I think, with the Fight Pass, so they must have some type of contract with the UFC and sponsorships and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Hopefully they continue to do it. I'm sure they will. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
We'll definitely tune in.
Now, I wish we could have went to this one. I thought about that. We almost talked about it.
We did, yeah. It was just like kind of far, you know.
I used to like going to the Cage Fury fights.
Yeah, me too. Maybe for the next one, we'll make it out there. If neither of us compete, maybe you could get on it.
Yeah, maybe.
But if we don't compete, we'll go there next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Check it out.
But so you're in your last hard week of camp.
Mm-hmm. It's my last week, like normal training schedule. Yeah, just like, but it's your last week. So you're like, it's so funny. It's like the same schedule that I've done for the last 10 weeks, but I'm like,
because then I start counting. I only have 2 more sparring sessions.
Yes.
Is that enough? Is that?
Yeah. And then when you do it, like I'm done the session. I'm like, wait, I'm not that tired. Did I go hard enough? And it's like, no, because you're in better shape. You don't get as tired. You just start to like, before you go and you train, and not that you don't think anything of it, but you don't overthink it. And this is like, the week where you're like, oh, okay, it's over. Like,
because this is maybe like the week where you actually do feel your best until after weigh-ins. Because then next week you start like cutting out calories.
Mm-hmm. Next week it's just
water.
All weight
then
cut.
Next week you're not really in. You probably feel like I'm not ready to fight.
Yes.
Then after you hydrate and fuel up,
Mm-hmm.
then you feel like that's, the best you're going to feel.
Yeah.
But this is probably right. Cause you're in
This is
as good a
whatever
shape as you're going to be in.
Whatever you feel like, it's kind of like exciting, but then also nerve wracking because whatever you feel in training this week, that's what you feel in the fight.
Exactly.
So,
unless you have like a terrible weight cut or something.
Yeah. Something like that. But I've never had that. So that's fine.
But however you feel this week.
So like right before sparring, you kind of know that in your head. You're like, whatever, it's just sparring. I've been doing this. Like I sparred on Tuesday morning, like every sparring, and I don't think anything of it. You just go. And then all of a sudden you're like, you get a little bit more nervous because you're like, however I feel now is how I'm going to feel in the fight.
Because you're not going to get in that much better shape. Right?
Yeah, no, this is it.
Yeah,
it's just doing that. So you're like, and I always have on like the Saturday before the fight, our coach has us not spar. He has us do like a circuit training type of thing. So just kind of push and get in every situationals. And I'm always like fighting him and I'm like, can I just spar? And he's like, no, you're good. I'm like, I want one more sparring session. Like, I just like to spar because it's the most.
So are you going to do one more?
Well, this is what I do. Usually like I spar 3 times a week. So I spar Tuesday and then Wednesday. If those go really good and I feel so amazing, then I'm like, okay, that's good. I want to end there. But if I'm like kind of like, didn't feel that great, then I want to get that Saturday sparring in.
And he'll let you? Like
yeah, he doesn't because
you won't take no for an answer.
Yeah, no, he has no choice.
Really?
He's like, all right, he's like, no, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, I need to. I was like, if you don't, and I remember one time I was like, if you don't let me spar, I'm just gonna go home and spar.
Really?
And he's like, fine, whatever, just go.
It's better him watching.
Yeah, of course. So then I'm like, then I remember like a couple fights ago, I was like, during the week, I had a really, really good sparring session. I felt so on. And then when I came in on Saturday, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do the circuit. I don't need to spar. I was like, I want to end on a good note.
But
then it's always risky because your last sparring session, you're like, I don't want it to be bad, but it never really is. It's always like when you're like 4 weeks out is when I feel like that's when I have bad sparring sessions. And I'm like, because you start to get a little burnout, but you still have like 3 hard weeks of training.
And you're not in your peak physical condition yet either. Right now, this is your peak physical condition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exciting. And it's kind of fun because you're like excited for training. You're like, I'm going to go really hard. This is my last hard Tuesday. This is my last hard Wednesday. And then you're like, once you get to like Monday for fight week, you're like, I have to cut weight, which sucks, but it's kind of easy.
Yeah. Especially how you do it with like so much science is involved in yours, like study like those, you have all the printouts, what you eat and the exact weighing everything. And it's a really scientific approach. So it's hard to screw up, right? If you just follow it.
I mean, I just listened to, I have my nutritionist, Tyler Minton, and he's great. I mean, I told him like last week, I was like, I haven't really dropped any. And, I've been following the same meal plan for all these weeks. So he just goes, all right, take one thing out of your first 2 meals. And I did that and I dropped weight like that. Like I dropped like 3 pounds right away. Like it's so, when you're following such a strict regimen, it's annoying, but it makes it easier to make adjustments.
It's so crazy. Like watching you do it. Cause I always think, like, I've wrestled my whole life. I know about losing weight, but I did it just terrible forever. Like back when I was wrestling, there wasn't any such thing as nutrition.
Yeah.
Like it was just whatever food weighed. I remember like standing on the scale, like holding like a half of a Subway sub and be like, oh, it only weighs 0.8. I could eat this and still make weight.
Mm-hmm.
Or like holding like, a drink in one hand and a power bar in the other. Be like it's
water and Gatorade was the same.
Yeah. Water and Gatorade.
Which is insane because
drinking,
like think about how much salt and sugar is in Gatorade and water is water.
Yeah. I didn't know about salt retaining water, like carbohydrates retaining water. I mean, it's a little different because you weigh in so often in college wrestling. But now, like watching you do it, I'm like, oh my God, that's like not professional at all. Like, but that's what the best guys were doing back then.
Right.
There just wasn't nutrition. It wasn't like a thing.
Yeah. Now it's like, I feel like it's kind of easy. Any fighter that's not doing it, I'm like,
what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, there's nutritionists that specialize in fighting, like UFC fighting. You know what I mean? So they know how to do it. It's not like you're getting some bodybuilder, and people still do this. They get some bodybuilder from their gym and they're like, hey, I can give you a meal plan. I'm like, dude, this person has no idea.
A lot of people still do that.
Oh, I know.
Like even some of our friends, like they'll talk, I'll be like, oh, Caitlin can't go out to eat tonight. She's in camp. She's like, well, yeah, but we could just get sushi. I'm like, no. It's not, she doesn't like eat sushi because sushi's technically a little healthier.
Yeah.
She's not eating healthy. She's on like a scientific plan.
Yeah. It's like, no, I have to have this. I can only have like a certain amount of certain types of proteins. I'm like putting it on the scale.
Prepared a certain way.
114 grams. And it's like, okay, I put it on the scale. If it's 120 grams, I cut a piece off, take it off. It's like, I'm weighing out cashews and I'm like, what's the point of this? There's 5 cashews, but that's 10 grams. So that's why I need that 10 grams of fat in this meal. Like every little thing is so important.
Yeah. It's not just, you don't just like, oh, I'm eating healthy now. I'm eating like grilled chicken instead of chicken cutlets.
No.
Like, it's such a scientific
Well, that's what
approach.
I did for so many years. Before I used a nutritionist, like I've always made weight and like been fine with it, but it was definitely, I feel so much better and I'm able to perform better. And you don't realize it till you do it right, how good you can feel. And it's annoying weighing out my food. It's annoying, like not being able to go out to eat and stuff, but it's really not hard. It's just more socially, it's a little bit annoying.
Well, you're never hungry.
No, I'm never hungry.
Right? You're never hungry, but you probably get a little bored with it.
Yeah, definitely get bored with it. Just the fact of like having to weigh everything out, make the meals. So like if I'm gone, like Tuesdays I go to train all day, so I have to like weigh out my meals Monday night, pack them, and I have to have them. That's kind of annoying. Like Monday night, sometimes I just want to like chill, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, eat breakfast, and then like get lunch somewhere, when I'm out training, just that's the convenience of it. But I'm never hungry, and like it's definitely not torture. I feel the best. I'm eating like really clean. I'm definitely like losing weight the best way. Before I used to just be like, oh, I'll just,
starve it out. Right?
I used to, for years, I used to say, I was like, oh, I can't eat carbs. I don't lose weight when I eat carbs. I would do like 6 to 8 week camps, like not eating carbs. I would have like a little bit of like one piece of toast in the morning and then just be like, yeah. And then the rest of the days was just like chicken and broccoli. And now I'm like,
and probably like such low energy.
I was like cutting weight. I wasn't losing weight as fast. I definitely wasn't as like toned as I am now.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know what I mean? I was like, now I have carbs in every single meal.
I remember when you first got to the UFC, there was no 125 and you were fighting 135. And I feel like you struggled to make 135 more than you struggled to make 125.
Yeah, during the fight week. Yeah.
Because I remember you being at like fight week and you'd be like eating a tiny little piece of chicken like 2 days out. And you'd eat like nothing else. And you were like really struggling to make weight. Like
and I cut less weight then. I cut way less weight then. But during the actual fight week, it was like harder because I was just like kind of eating healthy. And then I was like, okay, I got to lose, 10 pounds or whatever, or even like less than that. But I was like just starving myself.
Right.
Now it's like, it's not really like that.
But yeah, your nutritionist, what's his name?
Tyler Mitten.
Tyler Mitten.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
It
really is a science, a hard science, and you follow it. And
I've used other nutritionists before, and it was so much work. Like he does it so easy that like literally anyone can follow. He doesn't just work with fighters, other clients too. But he just makes it so simple that it's like easy to follow, and he gives you choices. So you can
choices is important.
Yeah, it's super important because that's what's going to help you keep on track. And then I get like, Eat Clean Bro. I just get the a la carte. So I get like a container chicken. I get that ordered, and then I just measure my food out from there, which makes it easier.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
Yeah, we should get Tyler on the show.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He said he would do it. So yeah.
So what about, are we going to do our Am I the Asshole section?
Yes.
This week, I'm not going to read it. I said I want to keep doing this, but I'm not comfortable reading. So our brilliant producer, Zane, is going to read for us.
Thank you.
Yes, Zane making his appearance on here.
Well, like I said, you're a college student. You're used to reading.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like I don't even like type out text. I do like talk text.
I know, it feels so dystopian when you do it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm becoming illiterate. I use emojis.
Kyle will be he talk text so much. I can't, because when I talk text, it's just nothing is spelled right. So then I have to go back and try to like my fat fingers can't get to the letter and refix it. That's even worse. But like you're in the house all the time and you'll be talking. You're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, and I'm in another room. I'm like, nothing. What do you mean? And then I hear ... Are you going to? I'm like, oh, he's texting. That's always the clue when he goes ... I always answer him. I think you're talking to me, but you're just texting.
All right, Zane, let's impress us with your reading.
I read at a 3rd grade level, so I'm gonna try my best. But
Better
am
than
I the
mine.
asshole for calling the police on my fiance? So this is a 30-year-old female with a 28 male, and they've been living together for 3 years. So she's a nurse, and she moved
Shocker.
she moved hours away to like live with her boyfriend at his house because they're about to get married.
Hours away from her work?
Hours away from her work, and she can't get transferred to a hospital that's closer to her house.
Okay.
So her fiance's car has been working for 2 months. So red flag immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well, she's dating a guy younger than her.
She
not really.
offered to help pay for the bills to repair it,
Okay.
but he still said no.
All right.
So one night she's scheduled to work, and her fiance asked to borrow her car just so he can go hang out with the boys. But she's scheduled for work, so obviously she says no. But her fiance throws a fit, saying that, it'd be better off if she took like a night off, switch shifts. They argue about it. She still says no. She goes to take a shower. She comes out of the shower. Her car is gone.
Damn.
He's not in the house. So she's freaking out. She already called the cops, put in a police complaint. And she calls the fiance. And it turns out he took the car with his friends.
Boys' night.
Boys. So they're at the bar. She's asking him to return the car, and he refuses to. He says, you're going to get it back at the end of the night, whether you like it or not.
How bad did he want to go out?
Wow.
Why don't you just Uber?
Yeah.
And it ended up with her calling the police on her fiance to return the car. So they all get brought into the police station.
Oh, they found him?
They found him.
Jeez.
So
I wonder how they found him.
So she goes to the police station, and she doesn't even talk to him. She just picks up her car. So while she's at work, he's blowing up her phone with like missed calls, texts, calling her crazy, saying how she ruined his night, how all of his friends won't talk to her anymore. Yeah, and so now they're not living together. He has this on his record now, according to this post, which I think
is a little sus.
Yeah, is a little sus. But is she the asshole for ruining her fiance's New Year's celebration?
I think they both suck.
Yeah.
To be honest, like you could say he's definitely the asshole. He stole her car, but I mean, I couldn't imagine calling the police on someone.
Yeah.
Almost in any situation.
Yeah.
I really just couldn't imagine, especially knowing the person. I couldn't imagine calling the police.
You've been together for 3 years. You live together. You're engaged. Like, I would have just been like, I would have been pissed off. I would have Ubered to work and then broke up with
Exactly.
you. That's what
you
done.
do.
Yeah. But he's the worst. He's an asshole.
Yeah, he's definitely an asshole, but like
they're too
to
old.
Call the police, like that's just such a ridiculous thing. Like who's got the time to do that? Like that's ridiculous.
That's like a real what he did was definitely messed up, but what she did was like she got like mean real quick.
Yeah.
I would have just like Uber to work, got home, and then just broke up with them.
Exactly. Because they're gonna break up anyway. I mean, he doesn't even have a car.
Yeah.
Right.
He doesn't have a car. He's going
calling
out.
the police on someone though, I really couldn't imagine that. Because are you gonna really follow through with that? That's why I don't think that it's gonna be on his record. Because is she gonna like go to the court and like really be like, no?
Well,
I
if
want
she called
him
that
in
quick,
jail.
If she called
she
that
just might
quick,
have wanted the car back.
Yeah.
And then, they just gave her the car back, and then he's like, all right, I don't want to press charges.
Yeah, maybe.
I
Just a
think that's
real
what
like.
happens.
Yeah, she probably said, if you don't call him, I'm calling the cops, and then he didn't answer. So she's like, fuck, well, now I have to because I said it.
My car got stolen
yeah.
a couple years ago. It was in front of my friend's house, and someone just stole my car. Hey, I was like, well, my car's gone. But you have to wait, like, I forgot how long it was. It was a long time, like 2 weeks before your insurance will do anything.
Yeah.
So they wait for it to come back. And then it was like 10 days later, And like the NYPD called me and they're like, "Oh, we have your car." I was like, "What the fuck?" They're like, "Yeah, it was in Brooklyn, whatever." I was like, "Oh, how can I get it?" They brought it to Nassau County, and I went and picked it up. I had to like fill out some forms and this and that. Then they were like, "You have to go to the Kings County District Attorney's office to press charges." The guys in, the holding center, you have to, fill out the affidavit, whatever, to press charges. And I was like, "Where is it?" They're like, "Brooklyn."
Like, yeah, right.
Kings County. I was like, "I'm not going to Brooklyn."
Yeah.
Like, "Well, then he's going to get out." I'm like, "What do I care?
You have your car
I got
back.
my car back."
Yeah.
So I didn't even press charges on this guy who stole my car.
Yeah.
I didn't even care.
Yeah.
As long as you get your car back.
You got your car back. It reeked of cigarettes for 2 weeks.
And the worst part was I had a couple of kettlebells in my car.
Yeah.
And he must have like ditched the kettlebells.
I remember there was like little kid cleats in the back.
Yeah.
There was like a soccer bag with cleats, and I was like, I'm like,
I think like a cast iron pan was in there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was mostly pissed about the kettlebells.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't call the cops. So I think she's
just inconvenient.
She's just as much of an asshole as he is, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, she dated the guy, so if you're gonna date someone in 3 years, you don't realize that he's kind of a loser, you're an asshole. Probably. She's too old for that. You know what I mean? You're 30. So they're both assholes.
Yeah. Is that it, Zane?
That's about it. But something that just popped up on my timeline I wanted to ask you guys about.
Oh God.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
But living in a post-COVID world. So there was a big wrestling duel that was supposed to go on tonight. Michigan versus Arizona State.
Did that not happen?
So it's happening, but there's only 4 matches on the card.
Why? Because people have COVID?
Everyone's got COVID.
4 matches.
There's only 4 matches on the card.
And they're going to actually do the match?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's happening at Flow headquarters right now.
So are there forfeits? Like some person has a 165 pounder?
So I don't even think they're doing like the team score.
Oh.
I think it's just like individual matches.
Wow.
And that match is at Flow headquarters?
It's at Flow headquarters right now.
And they all tested positive today?
Yeah.
You know what's so interesting about that is me and Gregor were talking about this, is that part of college wrestling that was so impressive was like winning matches or tournaments while you were sick.
Yes.
Like I remember so many times be like sick as fuck, be like, "But I can't miss practice because I have a match this weekend.
Well,
if I miss practice, I'll
Is
won't
it
make
Kobe
weight."
Bryant or Michael Jordan that play with the flu?
Michael Jordan has the most legendary game ever, the flu game.
Yes.
But now you don't even know you're sick. You are told that you're sick and they don't let you compete.
Yes.
But most of the season, you're sick in college wrestling.
Especially cutting weight and competing nonstop, training, living in college, traveling. Yes.
I remember I had mono my freshman year, the whole year. I had mono. I don't think I missed one match.
Oh my God.
Yeah, full blown mono.
Yeah.
And like other guys on my team did too.
You had to have illness didn't like keep you from it. It was just broken bones.
I remember wrestling with full blown strep throat. Like where you like taste it in your mouth.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. A big part of being a successful wrestler was being able to like make it through the tournament sick.
Yeah.
And now you're not allowed to be sick.
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of like, obviously right now it's like, you feel like everyone has COVID. And with my fight card, I feel like most of the fight cards, you haven't really been, there has been less people falling out from COVID. I'm a little concerned with mine. I even Googled yesterday because my opponent's from Brazil. I go, how is COVID in Brazil right now? Because I'm like, is it like, New York where every single person has COVID,
right.
And you just like, you almost wish you could know, like, can I find out if my opponents had it in the last couple weeks? Because then you kind of get, if they've had it like 3 weeks ago.
You should ask her.
Yeah. Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
Checking on you.
Just want to make sure you're feeling okay. Have you had COVID recently?
Yeah, it's just wild though. That's so unfortunate because that was such like probably the match of the year so far. And now they're not doing it because people are sick.
Well, now with that.
That was the way it was.
Yeah.
You always are sick. The entire season you're sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't check for like cold and flu.
Never.
So let me check his name real quick. Colton Schultz
Yeah.
is ranked number 3.
Yes.
And
Mason Paris.
he gave an interview the night he was tested. So now it's like, who else at Flow headquarters
Right.
has COVID now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has it right now. You know, right now it just seems that everyone has it.
Yes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wild.
That really is crazy. Did we want to, anything else, Zane? That was fun.
No, I think that's all I got.
Someone, Kyle, this is for you. Someone asked, "What's the dumbest thing you've ever done on a date?"
Me?
Yeah.
The dumbest thing that
I don't really have. I
ever-
don't think like for me, I don't really have anything because I don't think I really like went on a lot of dates. Like when I don't know, when I was younger and single, it was like you were hanging out with friends and then you were kind of talking to a guy and then I was like too scared to go on a date. So I'd be like, let's hang out in a group and then like 4 or 5 times. And then if I like you, I'll go on a date.
Okay.
That's
And
like when
what you used to do?
Yeah. Like, so by the time you went on a date, it wasn't like, hey, how are you? Who are you from? Like I never really hung out with people I didn't know.
Group.
Yeah, group thing. Cause like we go out and be like, oh, we're going out to this bar tonight. Come meet us there. So it was kind of less that way. I didn't want to like waste a night with someone and like be uncomfortable. When you and me went on our first date, that was the first time I ever saw you. And I was so nervous because I was like, oh, this is a date. Oh.
I was nervous too.
Yeah, I think, it was really, really nerve wracking. I had to like drive. I remember our first date. I was living in Jersey, obviously lived on Long Island. I was like, okay, well, this is uncomfortable because like obviously if I'm driving it's far, I'm gonna have to like stay for drinking, but I didn't want to be like, I'm like, if I know I'm gonna stay, I'd want to bring clothes and stuff to be comfortable in, but I didn't want to be like, hey, I brought my bag to stay over, so I kind of had to ask you ahead of time because I didn't want to be like, you know, I knew I was staying over. Here's my sleepover bag. But obviously it was so far I couldn't. So I remember being like,
but you didn't want to be presumptuous.
Yeah. I remember like asking, I was like, well, I don't know if like
an extra bedroom.
Do you have an extra bedroom? Like, cause I don't want to like, otherwise I'll have to Uber home and then
got
Uber.
An Airbnb.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But, so I don't really have anything dumb things I've done on a date.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything. I could think of one like kind of embarrassing, I guess, dumb thing that I did.
Embarrassing for you?
Yeah, definitely.
What?
So I'm not going to say anyone's name or even, I do remember the girl's name, but more or less I remember like a nickname we had for this girl. But I met her in school, like in college, you know?
Uh-huh.
And
I wish I knew college.
She was
Kyle.
like a nursing major. That's important to the story. So then we actually went out to like dinner, like a real date, which is unusual for college, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we're out on a real date and it is actually going well. Like, you know, I had a good time and, you know, good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell she was into me, you know, like engaging date. So then we left the restaurant. We went back to my house and we were going to like hang out and then maybe go out after or just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So go back to my house and I invited her into, you know, my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I cleaned my room real good. So she was in my bedroom. And
like the one time a year you cleaned it?
Stepped out to get like a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came back in and she was like on my dresser and I saw her like put down like a prescription bottle. Like I could tell. And then I didn't say anything. I was like, oh, so here's your drink, whatever. I was like,
yeah, because
like, I'm going to get going. And I was like, what? She totally switched, like 180-degree turn, completely, you know, changed her mind. I was like, oh, all right. Well, then she like really skittish.
Yeah.
And then left. I was like, what the fuck happened? That was so weird. And then I remembered the prescription bottle. I looked at the prescription bottle.
It was yours.
It was mine.
Oh, okay.
And it was a prescription bottle for Valtrex. Valtrex is used for herpes. So when people think like herpes, they think of the Valtrex and they think like the bad herpes. But if you're a wrestler or a jiu-jitsu person, you know.
Yeah, cold sores.
Cold sores or mat herpes
is
super common.
Wrestling.
Like, I absolutely don't have genital herpes, but she definitely thought that I had genital herpes.
Girls don't know about like
she
that.
didn't know about like she's a nurse. You see
Yeah.
Valtrex, it was like, you know,
Yeah.
1 gram pills.
Oh
I was always sick and run down. I used to always break out.
Oh
So she saw the Valtrex, freaked out,
and then left. And that was it.
That was it. A couple weeks later, my friend, I don't know if he's listening, but he usually does, Pat Lloyd, hooked up with her.
Well,
and I remember I was like really jealous.
Because he wasn't on Valtrex. He didn't have herpes.
Well, he probably was on Valtrex. Everyone was. It wasn't a big deal.
Well, he was smart enough to hide the bottle.
Yeah, it wasn't. So that was a dumb
You cleaned
thing.
your room and didn't hide the bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't snoop around.
Yeah.
So I guess that was a dumb thing I did on a date.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
Her loss.
Yeah. Exactly.
Pat Lloyd's gain.
Yeah, Pat Lloyd's game.
Okay. Last question. This is also for you. Everyone's like loving Kyle. When are we gonna see you on top of the mountain with Gregor? They're referring. Gregor's obviously super into hiking right now.
I love Gregor. It would if he really wanted us to.
He did. He's for his birthday. We did.
Yeah, we couldn't though. But if I could, maybe I would do it. But it would be so challenging for me. Like I really don't like anything outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allergic to everything. I get terrible poison ivy. Pollen makes my like eyes swell shut.
You don't have hiking shoes.
Very sensitive to the outdoors. The only outdoors I like is the beach because the salt air is very good for my sensitive sinuses.
Mm-hmm.
And I like skiing because it's cold and you don't have to. There's no you don't see like leaves and grass,
right?
Weeds. So you don't see that.
And there's
walking through a woods with the bugs and the pollen, it'd be very challenging for me. So I don't think that I'll be on the mountain unless it was like the dire situation where I really owed him.
Right. Like I think skiing. The thing about skiing and
skiing and the beach is the only time I go outside.
And both of those have a very quick option to go relax and have a drink. You know, you can relax. Like if you're skiing, it's getting a little uncomfortable. Go in, warm up, get a nice little hot toddy. At the beach, you can. If it's getting a little hot, you go to the bar, walk up to the bar, get a nice pina colada.
Yeah.
But if you're hiking, you gotta carry everything. I don't know. I've just never hiked. It's never seemed like. I shouldn't say I don't like it. I've just never done it. I'm not an camping outdoorsy person. Yeah. I like outdoors. I want to be in a cabin, but I want a hot tub on a balcony and I want to watch the snowfall and I want to play board games and do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I like too.
So I like to dress the part, walk into town, get a coffee, that type of outdoorsy
with boots
stuff.
On.
Yeah.
But you don't want the boots to get dirty.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I want to be comfortable and warm.
Yeah, so I probably won't be on the mountain too soon. Anything else?
No, that's all we got.
All right. So next we got fight week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably get one out before you go.
Yeah.
But everyone make sure you subscribe and leave us a review. We appreciate that. And follow us on Instagram. We've been putting out some good clips.
Yes. Follow us everywhere. Bye, guys.